I had way too many photos from our bonfire we had at our team retreat. So I've started laying out my photos how I think I might want them. I knew I wanted to use this. It came from Cindy. And during our retreat, we had sprinkles that we would give each other. So Cindy made all of us one of these, which I knew immediately I wanted to use while we were having our bonfire under the stars. So I want to use this for sure. And then I had so many photos that I thought, let's try a collage style. And I didn't put these in right, but I have 3 photos in this flip flap. I have 3 in this flip flap. Again, I didn't put them in correctly just because I wasn't sure how I wanted it, but I couldn't, overlap 2 flip flaps. So I wanted to know which ones were going to have flip flaps in them. So I'm thinking something like this, and then having my journaling here because I don't have another photo to go in this place. I do have a few more smaller ones that I was just going to put on the inside of a flip flap. So if I wanted to go like this and then do a second one of that, I could. And then do my journaling in the flip flap. That could work too. But I was originally thinking that if I kept it as a square, I could keep straight edges. But then again, this isn't the same width as this. So this one and this one I printed with a white mat because they're 4x6, so I thought I just printed them with the white. But then when I cut them apart, I don't print them with the white border. Sometimes 3x4s I do, but these ones I don't because they're closer in size then. So I want to leave a little white border around those. Do I want to mat everything or do I want to just build? I could do... Oh my goodness, too many thoughts. Okay, what if I put down colored paper instead of my white and then bring the white in as my piece that goes into the center? And then the ones that I want to double mat, like these 2 here, since they're already matted on white, I could double mat those with another color. So I think what I'm going to do is pick out some pattern paper to go kind of behind. White will be in the center, and then I can kind of leave little frames going around. Instead of matting everything, I can just kind of leave a border. I know I want to use the weekend adventures because it's camping themed, and that was the theme of our retreat, was camping. Camp Scrap-A-Lot to be exact. There's 2 patterns from the weekend adventure that come to mind right away. This one reminds me of Night Sky, or the enamel from the camping supplies. You know what I'm talking about. So it kind of reminds me of Night Sky though. But then I'm going to have it behind this title. So I don't know if I want blue on blue. It doesn't look bad though. So I kind of like how that reminds me of Night Sky. It kind of brings in the mountain colors. And over here, like the dark sky. So I could do that. But then I also thought, well, this plaid would bring in the fire. Kind of the orange of the fire. We do have orange here, and this is more red. So then I don't want to clash either. But plaid and camping, and we were all in our sweatshirts. So I do kind of like that too. I want to know what else I want to bring in for embellishments because that might determine which color I go with. If I have, because the embellishments aren't going to go on my photos. So it's going to overlap the pattern paper that I decide on. So if I do a lot of blue embellishments, that might be too much blue and it won't show up as well on the pattern paper. So, but vice versa, if I do red embellishments, that won't show up either. I believe it was Erin that made this. It's like a Cricut cut. And then Jama made this tag, I believe. I could bring one of these down, Camp Craft Repeat. But I do have pictures of me actually crafting. So that one I might want to save for another layout. Camp Scrap-A-Lot, and that one has my name on it. That could look good. Erin also made us this tag, so I could kind of go like that and do something with some tags. So then I'm thinking red, because this blue tag really kind of blends in with that. So that makes that pop a lot more. So now I'm thinking red, and the fire and the, I don't know, the sweatshirts, kind of flannel. I kind of like how that looks. But I could always bring in the blue for my double matte. So if I wanted to bring this one in to kind of matte that, or I have some darker coordinating cardstock. So it's basically the same blue, but it's not patterned. I could do that too. You don't see a whole lot of it though, so maybe I will do the solid blue. And then, yeah, I think I'll use this one as the background, and that flip side is the black stripe that hurts my eyes. So we are going to use that and cut down our white paper, and then I'll get these two matted on this. I got these trimmed down, so this one is 8 3/4 by 10 1/2. And I didn't really measure. I just kind of kept trimming. I knew about how much I wanted to trim off, but I just kind of kept going until I had a nice white frame going around all my pictures. So we do have a little more room up here than I expected, but we could always bring this down and kind of do some stamping or something behind there too. So I don't know that I like it kind of floating. I kind of like my pictures. Like ideally, I would have trimmed this even lower, but I want it to match up with this side, you know, and continue. And this one needs to be this height to fit all of these. So like that. And then I think I'll stamp some journaling lines here and maybe do some handwriting journaling. Otherwise, I could type out some journaling too, and adhere to that. I need to take out my bottom pictures. I think I mixed these up. Because I had, which one did I have as a flip flap? Yeah, this one actually goes up here. This one goes down here. This photo quality isn't as good when I printed it. It kind of got, so then I do want this up a little bit, I think. Kind of pixelated or granular, but we're all laughing and having a good time. So I want it under the flip flap. I don't want to leave the picture out, but I do want it under. So that one will be in the flip flap there. And I don't want my flip flap over here because of my title and layering. So it's going to go down in this area. This is a picture of me eating my s'more, but I didn't want it on top. So it's going to be, again, hidden under my flip flap. So I can set my flip flaps aside now that I know which ones I want down. And this one, let's pull out the one behind. And the reason I chose to put this one under the flip flap is because it's so bold compared to the rest. It's not the same coloring, but it's the mountain silhouette. That was our view all weekend, was this mountain range here. So we are going to put that one there and do that. I do want to ink around the edges. I'm just going to use black since I have black in my plaid. I'm just going to ink around with black, get my photos adhered, and then we can try to decide if we're going to fill in this area or if it's okay being left open. And then the, where'd they go? My little tags. So I could do something like that, and it would be under the flip flap then. So then this one, we'll play around with this some more. Not quite sure on if the tags are going to go on this layout or not. So I'm going to ink and get my photos down. While I'm laying down my photos here, I thought I would share a little more about them. So, as you've probably seen in some of my other videos, we had a Stampin' Up! Team retreat in Colorado, and it was camping themed. So, my upline was there, her upline was there, and then her upline was there. So, we had like 3 generations of uplines. This particular night, we lit a bonfire and we all sat around it, we talked, we had s'mores, and lots of laughs. Don't mind me, I'm just going to pull this one back up here, and I decided I do want a little white border on the left of that, so we'll put that one back down now. This bottom right photo on this page is actually of my husband and I, and it was kind of nice. They made sure to get a picture of both of us. I was kind of like, no, this is a girls' trip. Like, he doesn't need to be in pictures, but with 30 scrapbookers sitting around a bonfire, they were sure to get a picture of us, which was nice. I don't have very many photos that aren't selfies of just the 2 of us. I'm bringing in my Scenic Adventure dies, so I think I'm going to do this little tiny bonfire. Of course, it's adorable and it needs to go on this layout. I'm thinking right over here next to my journaling, maybe down in this corner. And then since I moved my title over to the left, I need to fill in all this white space. So I'm thinking a mountain with a little tree line, and that'll fill in nicely and add to that mountains behind the camping. And then on this weekend adventures, I have some little words, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be bringing those in. So let's go ahead and bring those tags back in. And I'm just not sure if I love how they sit here. I don't really want to hide a whole lot of the Camp Scrap-A-Lot tag. So I don't want to hide that behind my white cardstock. It could go over here, but then it's taking up some of my journaling, and I can't have it behind, like the cami behind my flip flap. So I don't know that this is going to end up on this particular layout. Yeah, see, I don't want to hide all that. This one's fine, but then if I hide Camp Scrap-A-Lot, there's just not enough room up there. If you caught my mini catalog walkthrough, you heard me say I didn't need these pattern tags dies. Well, I did it. And my reasoning behind was because I do use tags quite often on my layouts. So why not spice it up a little bit and get the new ones? So I'm going to add some tags up to that corner, but I'm not going to use the tags from the retreat. I'll use these tags, and I'll use those other ones on another layout. And with the magic of editing, I have those dies all cut out. I am going to punch out the sprigs from this die. Those could be some embellishments too, because it kind of, if you see up in that right-hand corner, it cuts out the sprigs so that you can back that tag up, but you could use these sprigs as embellishments. So I'm going to hang on to those. I don't know that they'll make an appearance on this particular layout. You can see on Cindy's title, she did some inking. So I'm going to bring in some ink, and I'm going to bring in limeade and my little silicone mat here and a blending brush. And I'm just going to ink lightly on these trees just to add a little more dimension. You can see on her tent, there's some shadowing. Cindy put a lot of effort into those titles. She made 30 of them, you guys. So that just adds a little more dimension. And then we might as well do around my tag too, since it's that same color, and we might as well give that a little something. So I have one plain one and then one with that overlay. Using my ink chamois, I'll clean up this ink, and then we can go ahead and continue embellishing. So I'm bringing in the sticker sheet, and I do think I'm going to bring in that camping life just to add a little something more up here to these tags. But it is a little long, so I'm going to remove some of that adhesive just with my anti-stick powder, and then I'm just going to give it a little trim so it's not as long. And I can't cut a straight line to save my life, so I am going to use my little guillotine trimmer here and just give it a little trim on both sides. And then the dovetail was actually on the other side. I'm going to dovetail the right-hand side so that it's kind of pointing in towards my layout. And then I can actually tuck the end with the C under this tag to have it look like it's coming out from that tag. I have a couple different options for the string up on my tags. These are Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread. This pack just came out recently. So I'm trying that out, and I don't mind it, but I kind of want I don't know, it sticks out too far, so then I'm thinking a bow, but these little bows came with the pattern tags dies. So let's go ahead and cut those out, maybe using that blue to bring that up to that corner. And just like that, they're cut out. So there's layers to it. So there's one layer that has kind of the string drooping down, another layer that has more of the upward angled bow, and then there's a centerpiece. So I cut them all out of blue. They all cut together, so they're all out of the same shade of blue here. And then I'm just going to add the glue, my Barely Art glue, to the center, and that's where they connect. Using that same Barely Art glue, I'm getting those adhered up to the holes up top. We could have brought up some orange or red into this corner as well, now that I'm looking back, so that it would have tied into the Under the Stars title. I'm bringing my flip flaps back in here. So I like to put my flip flaps directly down to my page, and then I cut the page protector. With this gray up top, I kind of want to bring some gray over to that left-hand page. So I have this little banner piece here from when I cut off the edge in front of camping. And I think I'm going to put that right up above this title here, just to bring that gray over. These blue dots came as a sprinkle at the retreat, and I'm just going to add those to all three of my clusters here. And that'll finish it off. Let's take a closer look. I did cut off the mountain and trees on the edge of the paper there. They were hanging over. The real showstopper on this layout is definitely the title, though. Thank you so much, Cindy, for the Under the Stars title. It made my layout come together super easy. I know it was a lot of work for Cindy, but hey, it made my title and layout come together so quick. I was able to fit a ton of pictures on this layout. I have more hidden under my flip flap here. I have 3 flip flaps on this layout. For still shots, my Instagram and Facebook are linked down in the description box. I just need to get my journaling added, and this will go in the books. Thanks for hanging around, and until next time, live a life worth scrapping.